Hey everybody, I'm Josh. Welcome to another episode of Just Saying. Thank you. On the show today, we are going to honor our men and women in blue according to our friends at holidayinsights.com. The third week of May is Police Week. So I'm going to do an entire show. All three segments are law-ish related. I had to stretch a couple of them. So it should be a good show. It's time for our host chat segment, so let's get chatting. First of all, before we go any further, I want to thank all of the police officers and all the law enforcement agencies out there for risking your life every day to protect ours, and especially to the families of those law enforcement agencies' spouses, because they're the ones who will kiss their spouse or significant other goodbye as they leave for work, never knowing if they're going to come home that day. Or at the end of their shift. So I thank you all so much for everything you do. I know that, and I'm not going to stretch it any more than this. I'm not going to say any more than this because I want this show to remain neutral. I don't want to pick a side. I don't hate picking a side, but I don't want to say something that offends someone and not get them to watch my show. I'm going to try and remain neutral on this. But I do have to say, I know that there is some controversy involving police officers and law enforcement, and things need to be changed. And I believe it stems from their training. But knowing and hearing all the controversy, I do have to say that I still support our law enforcement. But I think they do a great job. I think there's some that, I don't know, I've personally come across police officers that are power hungry. And that's as much as I'm going to say. I don't think that the police intend to do anything wrong. But I also know that because of the controversy, everybody's looking at them under a microscope. And just be thankful that things aren't like the movie The Purge. I mean, things could be so much worse. And we just have to be thankful for what we've got now. And just show some gratitude. It's like, to me, it's like being in high school. I may not like the teacher I have, but I still have to show them respect and learn from them. I'm not saying you have to learn from police officers, but I still have to show them the respect that I would show anybody else. And that's all I'm going to say, and we're going to move on. Recently, someone asked me if I'd ever had an involvement with the police, not working related. And I have to say that I've never told anyone this story, so you're welcome, America, and anyone else, any other country that watches this. So it was honestly the very first time I ever smoked marijuana. And I was at a friend's house up at NIU, and he lived out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not going to say his name, but we'll call him Mike. And I was at Mike's house, and we were watching a movie, and I was smoking for the first time. The movie was over, and I was like, dude, I really don't feel comfortable to drive yet. He's like, don't worry about it, just lay on the couch, set an alarm for a couple hours, and I'll come wake you up, and you can go. I'm like, all right, whatever. Sounds good to me, because we didn't have all the fancy schmancy phones that we have nowadays, with an alarm clock on them. No, you just could make calls with them back in the day. And so he wakes me up. I get in my car. I wasn't sure if I still felt the remnant of, if I was still feeling the high, or if it was because I was just waking up, but I was paranoid. And so I'm driving, again, he lives out in the middle of nowhere. I'm driving from his house into DeKalb, and because I was going to NIU, and I'm again in the middle of nowhere, and I wonder why there was a cop out there. if not for nothing else other than to not have to do anything. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm driving along, and I'm kind of paranoid to begin with, and because I've never driven, well, one, because I was high, and two, because I'd never driven home from his house at like this late at night. So I'm driving home, and all of a sudden behind me I see headlights in my car, in my rearview mirror, and the car is pulling up and backing off, and pulling up and backing off. I'm like, crap, it's a cop, he's reading my plates, I'm gonna get busted, I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna get a DUI, like all of this stuff is going in my head. And so I get to the main drag of DeKalb, and it's 2 lanes on each side with a turn lane in the middle all the way down it. And I'm in the left lane, and he flips his lights on. We're just turned the corner, and he flips his lights on. And I'm like, crap. So I get over to the right lane, and I start pulling over, and he just zooms right past me. I called my friend, Mike, and I told him what happened, and he's like, dude, you probably would have gotten arrested. Like, he probably just happened to get another call. A more important call. Anyway. But yeah, that was a run-in I had with the police. Another one I had was back when I was still in EMT and was working for a big company as an EMT, and I was going down a city road, and ever since I started driving, I was probably 24 at the time. God, I feel so old saying something like that. And so ever since I had my license for 8 years, I thought that this road I was driving on was 40 miles an hour. Well, come to find out it was 30. So I digress. But anyway, I'm driving down the road. This cop pulls me over, and I'm wearing, at the company I worked at, in the wintertime we wore button-ups. In the summertime we wore polos. And it had our company name on the back. And so I'm the window's down, I'm in my glove compartment, digging around for all my stuff. And she walks up to the window and she goes, gosh darn it! But didn't say that. And I was like, what? And she goes, I'm behind on my quota, and everybody I pulled over recently is either a police officer, firefighter, and now another paramedic. Just go. I'm like, are you sure? And she goes, just go. I'm like, okay. Totally got away with it. But no, she told me that it wasn't 40 miles an hour, and that was that. Anyway, so it's time for me to move on with the show and answer the question because I'm way over time. What is Josh drinking? Well, today, this may shock some of you. I'm drinking Mountain Dew. PepsiCo. Anyway. So, okay. Real quick story because this just popped in my head. So, you guys have noticed, like, anytime I do a phone, I do like this or like this. So, I was in high school, and one of my favorite teachers, she's still a good friend of mine to this day. One of my favorite teachers, we were in a business class, and we were talking about how to answer the phone, and if you talk with a smile, they'll be able to tell when you're not. And so we were doing mock phone calls, and she goes like this. And we're like, what the hell are you doing? She goes, it's the antenna. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so that's what I'm drinking today. Once again, I am not doing the sketch I had planned for today because it was supposed to be the sketch I had planned for last week. But with the hellish week my family and I have had the last couple of weeks that I told you about last week, I didn't have time to do anything. In fact, this is episode 6 and I still have 7, 8, 9, and 10 to write. So, yeah, I'm a little behind. Which is why I'm taking a little bit more time off, like I said last week. Anyway, so right now we're going to take a look at some viewer emails because I had nothing else to throw in this segment right now. So here we go. And I only have 30 seconds to do it in. Here we go. How's my mom? My mom is doing great. Thank you very much for asking. We had, like I said, a hellish couple weeks. And she just went to her cancer doctor. And her numbers are looking much better. And that's only after 2 treatments. After 1 treatment, so her cancer is like, I would call them like boils. I don't know how else to describe them. They're like bumps. And so I could tell even by looking that the bumps, after one treatment, that the bumps are getting smaller. And so it's working. We're very positive about it. Thank you very much for asking and your concern. Please keep your thoughts. Free boner pills. Ooh, I'll keep that one. Why promote my TikTok if I don't use it? Because my full intention is to use TikTok. I just, like, especially with my Taser versus videos, she'll do something cute, and I'll get my phone and open TikTok, and then I can't get her to do it again. So I'm trying to find more content than I can put on it. I am going to start doing some contests, so be sure to follow me on TikTok. I'll put all of the stuff up at the end. So I can play the lotto. Please give me 5 numbers. Okay, let's start with my favorite 2 numbers, 7 and 13. And then I'll do 21, and only because it's my date of birth, 9 and 30. So there are those. Have I ever hit on a straight guy at a bar? The question is, when don't I? Because, okay, and I even, like, I kind of started picking up on it that my gaydar sucks. And so I did a test. And so I went to the bar one night, and I started a conversation. For those of you who don't know me in real life, I am shy. I'm trying to break that, though, by doing these shows and being more out there, I guess, even though I don't really leave my house. But I'm always looking for something to do. But I'm trying to break myself of that. But when I was at the bar one time, I told myself, okay, I'm going to go up to a guy. I'm going to start talking to him. I'm going to maybe buy him a drink, whatever. And then I'll ask him if they're straight or gay. And I'll tell him why. Not just because I'm a random stupid question. So of the 20 guys that I made myself go talk to, 19 of them were straight. So yeah, I like to hit on straight guys. Either that or my gaydar just sucks. And I think it's the latter of the two. We're going to go ahead and move on because I'm over my time, as I said. So it's time for another cheesy monologue. Sorry, I had a sneezing attack. Ugh, sorry about that. In support of according to our friends, like I mentioned, at holidayinsights.com, the 3rd week of May is National Police Week. And so, like I did last week, I went to latenightLOL.com and in the search bar typed in police, got over 300 jokes. So not only will the jokes be outdated, but they will all have something to do with police. Hold on tight. Here we go. In Alaska, a thief broke into a home and found $100,000 in cash, but only took $20,000. Police are now on the lookout for a man with smaller dreams. A man called the police this week after a snake crawled out of the ATM he was using. The snake was immediately captured and returned to its position as the bank's CEO. Sorry, I'm really proud of that joke. A 10-foot alligator found its way into a mall in Orlando. Police are calling it a close call, while Panda Express is calling it combo meal number 4. It's time now for my joke of the week. A 100-year-old Dutch woman recently persuaded local police officers to arrest her in order to fulfill an item on her bucket list. Cool story for her, but not so cool for the victims of her double homicide. Police in Cairo have detained an American man who arrived from JFK Airport with 2 handguns, 250 bullets, swords, daggers, and knives in his luggage. When the screeners at the JFK heard about this, they were like, well, at least he didn't have nail clippers and shampoo. Because that's all they care about. A self-driving car in California got stuck going in circles without anyone behind the wheel. Police had to use spike strips to get it to stop, which I believe is the first time police officers have ever stopped the making of donuts. In England, while the driver slept, thieves stole over 6,000 cans of baked beans from his truck. When asked about the thieves, police said, "We'll be hearing from them shortly." At a daycare center in Michigan, police are saying that a small bag of marijuana was found in a baby's diaper. When asked to comment, the baby said, "Hey, I was just holding it for a friend." During a political protest on Capitol Hill, 82 rabbis were arrested. It's the first time D.C. police dispersed a crowd by spraying them with bacon bits. And finally, as I mentioned last week, in honor of the boys in blue, I'm going to give you a second joke of the week. So here we go. It's time for my bonus joke of the week. It is being reported that Justin Bieber and his crew are under investigation after they were involved in a nightclub brawl. Police want to find out how the fight started and how did Justin Bieber get a crew. Well, one thing I love doing, one of my segments I love to do, and I thought it fits well in this whole theme of my show, is to take a look at some dumb state laws. Here we go. It's time for another edition of The 10. That's right, everybody. It's time for The 10. Here we go. In the state of New York, you must purchase a license in order to hang your clothes out to dry. Why? And who would do that? Just buy a dryer. Buy a dryer. They're like $500. And I know your apartments in New York are huge. I hate drying my clothes outside, though, personally. I don't know why. I've never liked it. It's like my clothes are crispier and no. Here we go. In Montana, number 9, it's illegal to let your sheep ride in the cab of your truck without a chaperone. Because if I know anything about sheep, it's they like to party. And you better make sure they're being good. That's all I can say. I don't know much about sheep, but... Number 8. I wish this was a federal law, but in the state of Maine, it is illegal to keep Christmas decorations up after January 14th. Thank you, Jesus! They need to make that a federal law, and everybody's decorations need to be down by January 14th, and it should be illegal to use them unless it's Christmas time. And I say that not putting out Christmas decorations, and never my dad put out our decorations. Number 7, in the state of Texas, it is illegal to milk another person's cow, and it is seen as theft. What if you milk another man's wife? That joke, as I said it, I realized it could be taken a totally different way. We're going to move on right along. Number 6, I meant milk. Number 6, in New Jersey, it is illegal to slurp soup. Another, thank you, Jesus. Jeez, I hate people who eat soup. Well, it's hot. Then let it cool down. But you can't eat cool soup. You can't have your cake and eat it too, even though that's the point of cake. I love me some cake. Anyway, number 5. In the state of Wyoming, you may not take a picture of a rabbit from January until April without the proper permit. So if you see a beautiful rabbit doing something cute and adorable, and you take a picture in the state of Wyoming, you're breaking the law. Random law. Here we go, number 4. In Massachusetts, it is illegal to go to bed without taking a bath first. Who is in charge of making sure everyone in the state does that? Literally, who? Do you go to everybody's house at night and smell them before they go to bed? Number 3. But if they have somebody there to watch them, and you're hot and you're a guy, oh. Number 3. In Alaska, while it is legal to shoot bears, it is illegal to wake them up to take a picture with them. Why in God's green earth would you do that? Mr. Bear, I'm poking you with a stick because I want a picture with you, but don't kill me. Here we go, number 2. In Alabama, it is illegal to flick your boogers into the wind. So blow them away from the wind. So that way they fly and hit the person in front of you in the back of the head. So, and then flick. Just don't get it in your mouth. Yeah. Okay. Moving along. That was just going downhill quickly. And finally, the number 1 stupid law I found online is, in Willowdale, Oregon, it is illegal for men to talk during sex. I'm never having sex in Willowdale, Oregon. Who doesn't like a little dirty talk? I mean, seriously. This show is getting really out of control now. So I'm going to end that segment, and it's time for another segment. One of my favorites. Here come the Popo! Okay, I have to get into my suspenseful voice for you all. Here we go. The first one. Police were informed February 25th by a resident of the 1000 block of Raritan Drive that a family in the area is taking over the minds of local dogs and turning them against their owners. Police were advised by the person that the only way to protect a dog is to install an anti-force field on its head before taking the animal outside. Or stop taking drugs. Either or. Here's the next one. A woman reported Thursday that someone broke into her home at the 1200 block of Sumner Street, and switched her hardware in her computer with identical hardware that doesn't work. There are no leads. It's not from the illegal music you've been downloading. It's because someone came in and stole your computer hardware. Left your jewelry and your cash. Just took your hardware from your computer. Now the next several are going to be headlines from newspapers. And I'm going to start a new segment about it. I just haven't thought all of it through yet. So I thought I'd kind of test it out. And some have to do with police, some have to do with laws. So I thought this is the one I said where I stretched a little bit. So let me know what you think about the next few things that I show you. Here we go. Man arrested after cops spot suspiciously small package in his undies. I don't know who I feel worse for. Next one. Homicide victims rarely talk to police. Really? Here's the next one. Was bank robber he or she? Breasts may be a clue. She had double D. The person had double D's, but I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. Here's the next one. Cops see through crack in man's hemorrhoid tail. Now, how literally are we supposed to take that? Army vehicle disappears. An Australian Army vehicle worth $74,000 has gone missing after being painted with camouflage. It's a great army there. Here's the next one. Rooms with broken air conditioners are hot. Really? Really? Cows lose their milk. Cows lose their jobs as milk prices drop. Gives a new term to the meaning fired. Terminated. And finally, murderer says detective ruined his reputation. Has nothing to do with the fact that you're a murderer, just the fact that you were accused of it. Ruined your reputation. Not the fact that you did it. Now, we're going to talk about another kind of police right now that, as a gay person, kind of strikes at my heart. But then I'm colorblind, so I don't really give a crap. We're going to talk about the fashion police. Now, I don't know. I've never been to a runway show, like during New York Fashion Week or anything like that. Not that I ever would go to one, because the outfits there are, first of all, how in the hell would you wear them in real life? So we're going to take a look at some of those today and some really bad fashion mistakes in this week's edition of Things You Can't Unsee. So, here's the first one. Now, this is a picture from a runway show. And I would just like to know out there, men, who would wear, first of all, what guy likes wearing a suit anyway? That doesn't have to wear one every day for work. Let alone this one. What is the point? Why put that in a runway show? It's not like anyone's ever going to buy that thing. And I feel bad for the model wearing it. Speaking of feeling bad, this one's just a person one, not the one I was thinking of. I don't know if I would feel comfortable with this. I don't know what it is, but the marshmallow man is alive. Speaking of models in runway shows, I feel bad. Why put a poodle on her head? I don't know if it's an actual poodle, but it definitely looks like one. Doesn't look like something that should be on someone's head. This, however, looks like it should be on someone's Christmas tree. But no, it was, I can't tell who it is because the picture's too far away. But it was someone's actual dress at an event. Like, really? Jeez. And they're made by, like, Couture. And this one. I can just see it now. I'm a doctor in the ER. Someone comes in with a stab wound to the arm, to the shoulder. I'm sir, what happened? I was hit. I was at a bus, and a lady entered the bus. Stabbed me right in the arm. Like, what is the point of that? This one just looks like a giant vagina. I don't know how. I don't know what they really look like. I just thought it would be a good punchline. Now, my mom included, loves to complain about how big her purse is. So she'll put everything into a smaller purse, but then not everything fits. So then she has to go back to the big purse. Well, you wouldn't have any trouble finding anything in this one because you could climb into it and dig around. What the hell? Could you imagine someone walking down the road, walking down the street, just a normal day, carrying that frickin' purse? Hold on, let me get my wallet out. Could you hold that, please? Thank you. Yep, here's my wallet. I mean, seriously. Ridiculous. Now, I shouldn't say I've loved the show because I've never really watched it. But this guy was from, I can't think of his name right now. He was on Schitt's Creek. Daniel Levy, I think is his name. And this was taken, I read the caption when I found the picture. It's Daniel, I think his name's Daniel. Daniel Levy at the Met Gala in New York. Why? Why? If you didn't know he was gay in real life before... And, like, why would this be something to wear? Like, what? You're shopping, and you see a mannequin with this next shirt on. What entices you to buy it? It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my life. And finally, if I were a woman, I would never wear this. Of all the women I know, I think I can probably speak for them and say this is not a good idea for a dress. At least not where your spots of red are. Anyway. But hey, the fashion industry is booming. Well, that will do it for our show this week. Be sure to join us next week when we talk about something else. I think it's 3 more holidays. I'm not really sure because I don't have it written yet. Anyway, if you think there's something funny I should see and share on the show, be sure to send it to me. There's my email address, and follow me on TikTok. I don't know why because I don't use it, but I'm going to start using it, and there's going to be exclusive TikTok contests, Taser versus videos, and behind the scenes look, because I look amazing when I'm not filming. I look like a pile of trash. So follow me on TikTok. There's my email address. Or if you have a question for me for my viewer questions sketch. Also, while you have a minute, please like, subscribe, and get the notifications anytime I post one of my episodes. Until next week, everybody, that's all I'm saying.